I think that art cannot stay by itself. So I think our art is eminently collaborative and community based. So that right from, so for example, we host something called the Camden Arts School Biennale, and that is basically primary schools in Camden, the borough that we're in, the students making art. So this conversation has to start very early, and it has to be supported very early from a child stage all the way, so that young people do think that art is a career that they can have as well. And that is a viable career that you could have a livelihood for it, but you could also find kind of it's a sort of pleasure from it, or, it satisfies you. I think the other thing is that it is a work in progress, because I think that, for example, activity, so sports and exercise are good for your well-being. But there are recent research that shows from our colleagues at UCL and everywhere that art is very good for your well-being, that you can go and see art and actually, that it is actually good for your health and well-being because of how it makes you feel, and the reception of art. So I think that is still a work in progress, that art is so essential to human life is still a thing in progress. But I think collaborating with other disciplines. So, earlier we spoke about creativity. Creativity is not just about art school, but you find creative scientists, right? You find creative technologists, you find creative engineers. So I think we sometimes limit what creativity is by these labels of disciplines. But actually, when you think about people like, I don't know, Leonardo da Vinci, or, the real big, they were really prolific and kind of pluralist. They had a great expanse of things. And that's perhaps why they came to the kind of, to the reasons that they did, or to the kind of discoveries that they did. So I feel that we need to go back full circle into that open disciplinary, but also acknowledge cultural philosophies, because the way we express ourselves as human is so multiple that we shouldn't limit that by having one definition of what is creativity or what is art.
I was talking to one of the student who studied at St. Martin as well, and we were talking about the art and how it's very subjective and how we cannot limit it. And also we were discussing different people in different courses and how they are exploring it, and even about the history. So I think whatever we do at a higher level is definitely kind of drilling down into the student, and which is so amazing to see, and even experiencing it. But, like you mentioned, the Camden Art Festival or the school as well.
Yeah.
Initiatives that you are doing, the studies. So what is the work and the whole structure that goes behind it? What good collaboration looks like within the institutions or the leaders to make sure that it's happening and it's kind of benefiting the society and the students?
So I think it's sort of I think with students, it's like Arjun Appadurai talks about curiosity, he's, and research as curiosity. And I think every human being is curious. Every human being is imaginative. But some of us feel like we have the permission to do that, and some of us don't, because we're facing such hard challenges. So I think really, for us at University of the Arts London, it's anchoring ourselves in place. The fact that each of our colleges is based in a place, so that when students come from wherever they come from, they can trial ideas with communities and learn from that and sort of take it back. So I think it's really allowing that space for that kind of community collaboration or industry collaboration, with partners, or with collaboration within themselves, to be able to learn from themselves. So I think that for me is sort of fundamental to education, is that exploration and that experimentation, but that it's real. These are real industry briefs in that sense.